Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Puerto and welcome back for another edition of Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. This is the Proving Ground. Yes, indeedy. Now you may notice that it is indeed December up in the top right there. Due to some scheduling and contracting issues, we had to delay this show a little longer than usual, and so we ended up doing it in December, where we found out that not doing a show for an entire month is incredibly profitable. But I'm not going to take advantage of that yet. We're doing pretty okay on money. By the way, I have to pay taxes on selling the dojo. Fucking taxes, man. Jesus. I'm actually paying taxes this month, too. Oh no, I paid taxes last month, I guess, because we made enough money to pay taxes. Fucking taxes. Right, and we are going to head into the Proving Ground. It has been announced in the month that Cameron Jones, who of course pinned Greg Gage during the Sam Keith Classic, is going to get a title shot tonight. And we have a debut. Backstage are the Puerto Rican boys, Island Boy Apollo and Kid San Juan. As Island Boy Apollo says, we are the most energetic, electrifying tag team in the Confederation of the Territories, and we've finally been given an opportunity to spread ourselves across these fine territories, this fine country, and go to everywhere across the world and show how electrifying we are. So tonight, we will take on the Heartbreak Express, which is different to the Dynamite Express. Very good, easy to confuse the two. And we will show everyone our electrifying power, our energetic, wonderful wrestling style. And we are the greatest tag team to have graced these shows in some time. And yeah, there you go. As we move into a semi-final match in the Hot Prospects tournament, as Seth Whitehead defeats Gordon Bennett by submission with a Minnesota stretch. Moving on to the final. And in the next Hot Prospects tournament match, Christopher Ball is defeated by Hal Harvard with a forward Russian leg sweep. Good stuff from Hal Harvard there. Moving on to the final. And then we have an off-screen video where Roddy is on screen saying, I may have suffered a setback last month, but I've got some good news. Finally, after months of waiting, I have been granted a one-on-one rematch with Greg Gage. The rematch that I deserve. Greg's never beaten me fair and square, and I don't really care how much you've grown in the last couple months, Greg. I still think I have your number. So, next month, at Night of the Champions, I'm going to get my title back. So we finally have probably the feud ender between Roddy and Greg. Of course, it could be a non-title if the main event ends up going a certain way. Cameron Jones is backstage. Apparently he's cutting a promo on Aid Nelson. Sure, instead of Greg Gage, but that's fine. He cuts a promo on Greg saying that tonight he is going to prove to the world that he is not just a tag team competitor, that he is not just a tag team wrestler, that he is a fantastic athlete, one of the greatest athletes in this company. He is going to win the Mid-Atlantic Regional Championship and prove to the world that he's got everything it takes to get to the top. And George Wolf destroys Carl Levesque with a running power slam and gets on the mic and says, "Wait, Roddy gets a title shot before me? I have done nothing but destroy this year. Nothing but destroy." Quite frankly, that pisses me off. I deserve a title shot. I beat Roddy last month. And the fact that he's getting a title shot before me is infuriating. And the Puerto Rican boys debut with a victory over the Heartbreak Express when Island Boy Apollo defeats Johnny Needham with a welcome to the island. They get on the mic and they say, "We are the most electrifying tag team in the territories. We just defeated a hot rising tag team in the Heartbreak Express. And we think," and they look at each other, they nod, "we think we deserve a title shot next month at the Night of the Champions against the Dynamite Express." And backstage before their match, Cameron Jones is getting ready, wrapping up his wrist tape, making sure everything's ready and good. And Sid Collier just walks in, looks at him, and Sid nods and walks off. Kind of a repetition of of what happened at the end of their match at the last show. These two seem to be on a lot better page than they were in the summer. And we move on to our main event of the evening, which is a 50D plus, as Greg Gage does defeat Cameron Jones by submission with a Proton Lock. Now, Cameron Jones did have a good performance in this match. He was aggressive. He was closing in on a couple of good opportunities during the match. But this was the best performance we've seen from Greg Gage this year. He is sure of himself. He is solid. His grappling is slick. He brushes off any attempt Cameron Jones has to get momentum. He is just fully sure of his grappling ability. And he's very confident. He's very good. And Greg Gage, he had an up and down year for sure. But going into his rematch with Roderick Strong, I almost said Roderick Strong, Roderick Ramos, he is looking better than he has in a while. And he gets on the mic and he says that. He says, Cameron, you put up a good fight and I congratulate you for it. But I am at the peak of my game. No longer is my head filled with doubts and worries about whether I am or am not ready to be champion. Of course I'm ready to be champion. Listen to the crowds. Watch my matches. I am one of the most impressive grapplers on the planet today. And I don't mean to sound arrogant, but at the moment, in my current form, I don't think anyone can beat me. But that's not what I'm here to say. What I'm here to say is twofold. First of all, Roddy, I look forward to our match next month. Yeah, you're right. I didn't quite get the best of you in my victories against you last year. But you know what? That was a different Greg Gage. And this Greg Gage is going to have you beaten easily. And the second thing I wanted to say is I hope you guys in the crowd enjoyed tonight. I'd like to thank you all for coming, and I'd like to wish you safe travels home. And make sure you come back next month to see Greg Gage in action again, the hottest ticket in professional wrestling. And he walks off. And I would like to reiterate Greg's message by saying I hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. If you did, please leave a thumbs up. Check out the rest of the series. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you're feeling especially generous and you really like the show, the link to my Patreon should be in the description. And next month we have possibly a title match between the Dynamite Express and the Puerto Rican boys. We also have a title match between Roddy. Okay, I'll just say Roddy. Roddy. We'll have a title match between Roddy and Greg. Probably the end of their feud. And a lot of things coming to an end. It's the final show of the year. Also, the finals of the Hot Prospect Tournament. Seth Whitehead's going to take on Hal Harvard. And lots of interesting stuff on that show. Be sure to tune in next time for the Night of the Champions. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.